Beyoncé has been at the top of her game for nearly 20 years, but it almost never happened. Over 170 million records sold, the biggest winner in MTV Video Music Awards history. Tyme magazine's most influential person twice. She's a fashion designer, actor, activist, philanthropist, and one of the most powerful black female entertainers in the world. But it could have been very different. What if we'd never had Homecoming or Halo, Lemonade or Crazy in Love? What if we'd never watched her rub her little baby belly with a tiny blue ivy at the MTV EMAs? I don't even want to think about it. So, here's the story of how Beyoncé was told no, 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 but kept going. This is Beyoncé, the come up. Now it's time for a history lesson. Beyoncé superfans, feel free to check me in the comments below. Let's rewind to the year 1981, or as I like to call it, the year OB of Beyoncé. Celestine Knowles, aka Tina, and Matthew Knowles had the first of their two daughters who would go on to become music icons. Beyoncé, born and raised in Houston, Texas, was a shy kid, and so to try and make some friends, her parents signed her up to dance classes. One day, her dance teacher heard her sing and called Bey over to ask her to do it again. Clearly impressed, she entered her into a local talent competition which 7-year-old Beyoncé won. So, let's fast forward a little to Girls' Time and a friendship that would endure the test of time. Please make some noise for Miss Calandria Rowland. Kelly and 4 other talented girls plus Bey made the 6 members of Girls' Time, a group put together by 3 local businesswomen who had spotted the girls at various talent shows. Beyoncé's dad Matthew saw potential in the group, so he took on a co-managerial role, something which would go on to cause friction in the group for many years to come. It wasn't until 1993 and Beyoncé was aged 11 that Girls' Time finally gained national recognition. Before American Idol or America's Got Talent, there was Star Search, which plenty of future pop stars would make an appearance on. From Britney Spears to the Backstreet Boys, Pitbull to Usher. Now for Girls' Time, this was their biggest gig to date, but they lost out to a hairy rock band called Skeleton Crew. To be fair to Skeleton Crew, in an interview with People magazine, they said, Skeleton Crew will remain a footnote in the career of Beyoncé. This is Beyoncé's story, and obviously our destiny was to play a part in it. If that experience helped to shape her and make her into who she is now, then what more can we ask? Feeling dejected after working so hard, Beyoncé, Kelly and the other girls head back to Texas with their dreams in tatters and soon 2 fewer members as Matthew cut the dancers at the back, making 6 into 4. 3 years after their Star Search performance, Girls' Time were asked to audition for a record label who flew out from New York just to see them. They were excited but nervous, and Matthew even had to make them start their audition again after a wobbly first chorus. But unfortunately, this was not their big break. Enter Daryl Simmons from Silent Partner Productions. Daryl had already earned himself a Grammy, and when one of the chunky VHS tapes landed on his production desk, he decided to visit Texas. He says he saw the star potential and took the band, now named Destiny, to Elektra Records, who finally did the right thing and signed them. But our happily ever after doesn't start here, because Destiny were dropped before they even got to record an album. Look, I know so far this is a pretty depressing story, but don't forget it leads to some amazing moments in pop history. So have faith, like Beyoncé did, because she's nearly there, but not before a little bit more heartbreak. Matthew Knowles, by this point, had gone all in and quit his day job, more than halving the family income. This financial strain took the family from a 6-bed house to a 2-bedroom apartment, and Matthew and Tina separated. It was around this time they added child to their name and decided to knock on a familiar door. The label from New York. This time, Columbia Records flew them out to audition and the band was signed. Still as a 4-piece with no sign of Michelle yet. No, No, No was the first single, and they wanted to make a remix of it before the album dropped. Now, with a music label behind them, doors began to open in a way they never had before, and they jumped in the studio with Wyclef Jean. One thing led to another, he added his spin, and No, No, No Part 2 became a radio hit. Beyoncé heard it for the first time on the airwaves as she picked Solange up from school. Then came more hits, Bills, Bills, Bills and Bugaboo, but there were a few more pieces to the puzzle. Most people know Destiny's Child as a 3-piece, right? So, how did they get there? In the year 2000, two of the members of Destiny's Child, Lativia Robertson and LaToya Luckett, felt that Matthew Knowles needed business guidance as their manager. At the time, media reported it was because Beyoncé was receiving preferential treatment, but in a dazed interview, Lativia clarified, "My issue was always with the management and never with the girls, ever. There was a letter that LaToya and myself sent out and we were supposed to have a meeting. There were just some things that I started to notice and I asked questions about. I can't go into specifics. We just needed a business manager to come in and be with Mr. Knowles. We never tried to fire him as the group's manager like the media said. We couldn't do that." Eventually, the group split 50-50, which resulted in a lawsuit and an out-of-court settlement. Destiny's Child needed new members, and fast. They asked Farrah Franklin, an extra who had appeared in the Bills, Bills, Bills music video, to join, and their choreographer introduced them to Michelle, who was soon in Texas with them filming their music video for Say My Name. Just 6 months later, Farrah was gone. She had failed to make some public appearances. She said it was due to illness, but none of the group had any time to waste, and she was cut. Turns out, for Destiny's Child, 3 was the magic number. In the year 2001, they spent 11 weeks at #1 in the US with Independent Women from the Charlie's Angels soundtrack, and they won 2 Grammy Awards for Say My Name. Their third studio album, Survivor, went straight to #1 and platinum in 16 countries. And the rest of the story is pretty well known. In 2002, the group went on hiatus, with Kelly releasing Dilemma, and before the end of that year, Beyoncé made her film debut as the leading lady in Austin Powers' Goldmember, which was #1 at the US box office. A year later, she had a #1 solo album with Dangerously in Love, which has since sold over 11 million copies worldwide. There is no doubt that Beyoncé is one of the greatest artists of all time. As of 2021, with 28 Grammys, she's had more wins than any other singer. Her net worth is $420 million US, according to Forbes. And she's raised millions for charity, including a donation of $6 million to mental health facilities supporting people through coronavirus. So, if anyone watching this needs reminding, sometimes you have to fight for your destiny as a child.